Welcome back, everyone. Alex, Carol, Bettina, Tenfu, Mark, Daniel. Hi, Bruce. Good to see you across town. Keith, Sarah, nice to see you. Okay, let's see. There's one more. Gnome's back. Good. Nice group. Thanks, everyone, for coming today. Is anyone here for the first time? I didn't think. I think I recognize everyone here. So good. I'm glad you're continuing. So we are. This I believe this is our fifth gathering, Genjo, if I'm counting correctly, and we're making our way through the Zen Ox Pictures, and I hope everyone's appreciating this and getting something from it. I think the fact that you're returning answers that question a little bit. So without any further ado, I'll mute myself and pass over to uh, my friend and our teacher today, Genjo. Thank you, Genjo.
Hi, everybody. Well, let's start as I usually do with just a bit of guided and then silent meditation. Taking our seat, planting our tailbones like a taproot deep into the center of Mother Earth and beyond, raising our spines like antennas to the heavens, helping us recognize and nurture our own center of gravity at the nexus between the two. Resting in our center of gravity and watching the world inside and outside our physical form just as it is. No need to add or subtract, amplify or diminish, judge or analyze. Instead, taking slow, gentle, whole breaths and listening on all channels of perception to the symphony of now. Letting all thoughts, feelings, and sensations come and go. And wherever you are is the symphony whole. Just allowing all sounds and smells and sights and feelings and thoughts to be aware of and release. And as we take slow, gentle, whole breaths and listen on all channels of perception with every pore and fiber of our being to the symphony of now, we gently watch for the silence, the stillness, the quiet power emanating between and within each note of this symphony. In this background and omnipresent quiet, we're all being held and nurtured and restored. And as our heart minds begin to open more as one with each other, with our environment, and with that background silence or stillness, may we join with all other open and well-rooted heart minds around the globe to embrace our very troubled world and our own journeys of trials and tribulations and joys and sorrows with a gentle, loving presence in the midst of a vast and infinite and intimate oneness. put our hands together and give ourselves a bow. So we've been examining these Zen Ox pictures, and as I repeatedly say, they're in a linear sequence, but they're not necessarily linear. They, in general, go from I'm lost to I'm found. And in our lives, we all have times where we feel very lost and other times where we feel found and whole and grounded and complete and ready for the world in all of its complications. It's also true that these pictures are kind of circular. You kind of go through them and then you go through them again and you get glimpses and then you get a glimpse over here and a glimpse over there. And over time, your confidence kind of builds that you've explored this idea of a spiritual journey of what it is to be a human being on planet Earth. And I've also said that with more and more experience, begin to have the experience that I'm lost and found at the same time or within seconds of each other. And I fall off the horse just like everybody else when things get complicated or dangerous or encumbrances galore. But I think over time, I get back on the horse quicker because of experience. And part of exposing myself again and again to these Zen Ox pictures is that they help me when I reference what it's like to be lost and what it's like to be found and bring these memories to mind, that it helps me have the confidence to get back on the horse quicker when I fall off. And we live in a very troubled time, I'm sure. Every age has felt troubled in one way or another to the people who are in it. As I said last time, I can't remember a time in my life where it's felt more troubled collectively. And even personally, as I age and my sweetheart, my partner, ages and has a disability, and I've grown into a caretaking role, just how weighty this remembering that we can't escape growing old and all of the things that come with that. How weighty life can be. Anyway, today we're on exploring the seventh Zen Ox Picture. And last time we explored really the first picture of what might be considered one view of enlightenment, which was riding the ox. And I described that as entering deep samadhi, where we are in harmony with deep harmony with whatever activity we happen to be engaged in. And it becomes a kind of happening or almost magical kind of transformation, an alchemy from our ordinary busy activity to something that feels unifying. We went on a hike as a Sangha this last Saturday up to a local lake in the Alpine Lakes. Pretty short hike from where we took off, but I carried a foldable kayak on my back, 25 pounds, and got it up on this little alpine lake, and oh my goodness, got my dog Charlie in it and was kayaking on the lake and had a few moments of that feeling of riding the ox. out in nature in the alpine lakes of Washington. And many of my compatriots took turns in the kayak, and I'm pretty. You can look at some of the pictures. I posted them up on Facebook. That here were our various Sanghas members in the groove, as it were, in their kayak on a little alpine lake. Today we're talking about another view of what we might call enlightenment. And last time I talked about the sixth Zen Ox picture of riding the ox as opening a window outside our narrow sense of self. And I called it the west window, throwing up the west window and entering deep samadhi. And today we're going to throw up the east window and see what it looks like looking out east. Now, outside is just outside. It's not two separate outsides, west and east or north and south. Outside is outside. But when we expand outside of our narrow egoistic view and open a window to something beyond our narrow sense of self, where it's like opening the windows to the house of self until eventually the house of self begins to disappear. And by the 10 Zen Ox pictures, we're actually stepping outside for a while, outside of our narrow sense of self. And today's picture I'm going to call Opening the East Window. And it's titled The Ox Forgotten, Self Alone. And I'm going to share this picture and read the verse. So you see a person in a hermitage up on top of a mountain or a hill with the sun or the moon in the background. And the verse goes as follows. Astride the ox I reach home. I am serene. The ox is no more. The dawn has come. So that must be the dawn sun back there. In blissful repose within my thatched dwelling, I have abandoned the whip and rope. And then there's a commentary. All is one law, not two. We make the ox a temporary subject. It is as the relation of a rabbit and a trap, a fish and a net. It is as gold and dross, or the moon emerging from a cloud. One path, clear light, travels on throughout endless time. So this is, and here we even see somebody who's opened the window. This is, I'll call this the east window. Anyway, the ox is, astride the ox I reach home, I am serene, the ox is no more. The ox, remember, is a metaphor in this sequence of our deep nature, of our capital S self, of the, sometimes I refer to it as our inner sage, or you could call it our Buddha nature, or our Christ consciousness, or something like that. And at this point, there's a real merger. This inner sage, or Christ consciousness, or Buddha nature, or capital S self nature, is no longer separate. When this sash is open, there's no sense of separation of, oh, that's my deep nature and this is my self nature. Now there's no walls or barriers or separation whatsoever. The artificial walls between self and other, between surface and deep, have fallen away, at least temporarily. And everything is temporary because of impermanence. Everything's temporary. And going way back to the third Zen Ox picture, where you get I'll bring that up. Let's see if I can bring that up. 7, 6, 5. third Zen Ox Picture, seeing the ox for the first time. When we're in views 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, really, when you see or have an awakening experience or a breakthrough experience or a really deep aha experience where you're seeing reality beyond your narrow sense of self, it will usually take the form of 6, 7, 8, or 9, and maybe even 10. And it'll have a flavor of one of these views when you first see the ox in number 3. And then as you move around the circle of the Zen Ox Pictures, eventually you'll have a little deeper view of, going through a little too far ahead, you'll have a deeper view of these different windows that can be opened. But on your first view, I don't know which window opens first. It doesn't matter. But you get a glimpse. It's like you've lifted up the shade, and then it may last a while, but the shade comes down. By this point, you're kind of getting comfortable once in a while, having the window open without having to, and the shade doesn't drop immediately. Okay, let's talk about this a little bit more. I'm now going to drop this whole document as I have before into the chat so that you can look it up yourself. So I'm going to open up the chat. Let's see, where is that? It's here somewhere. Give me just a second. There it is, chat. There we go. I'll drop the document in case you don't have it already. And it's now loading and coming your way. Okay, well, back to the verse. What is this like? There's a Zen master by the name of Yakujo who was asked, that's the Japanese way of pronouncing a Chinese name, and he said, was asked something like, what's the greatest feeling you have after decades of meditation? He said, sitting alone atop a sublime peak. Sitting alone atop a sublime peak. And this is a feeling that maybe you have had, and I'd like to hear your sharings about it. But it's when you don't necessarily have to be on a mountaintop. You could be on a park bench in the middle of the forest, or sitting on a tree stump in the middle of the forest, or you could be in a high desert under the clear summer stars, or you could be on the beach listening to the surf. But it's a feeling of being totally at one with nature, with a capital N. And it's a feeling of being the only person around. It really has to be done. It's a feeling that one has when you are alone, but not lonely. Completely the opposite of lonely, because you feel entirely at peace with your surroundings. And it feels as though your conscious, it's like you're the only person on the planet, and the planet is just humming with good vibrations, and all of the animals and rocks and trees and rivers and grass and mountains and valleys are a part of one fabric. And in a way, you feel like you are the consciousness of the planet. It's a very it's a very alone, but the complete opposite of lonely. I don't know quite how else to put it into words. And you don't have to be on a mountaintop to feel it, but very often it's a feeling that one has when you are alone, but as far away from lonely as you can get. And I hope that cues something in your own memory. And when it says that the whip and rope are abandoned, it means this is whip and rope are metaphors referring to practice. Oh, I've got to practice. I've got to go on my hike. I've got to go on do meditation. I've got to do my yoga. I've got to I have to have so many steps in the day. This is our practice, but our practice has become so integrated into our life, especially when we're having this feeling that by in these pictures, 7, 8, and 9, and in fact 6, 7, 8, and 9 and 10, the practice is so integrated into your life. Brushing your teeth, taking a shower, preparing a meal, cleaning up afterwards, sweeping the floor, doing a meditation, or getting so many steps in the day. It's just so integrated. It just flows. It's not something separate from you. It's not something you have to even think about. It just happens. And lots of us worry about being lonely or alone in a way that we either feel abandoned, or people have left us, or people have died on us, or we're not in a relationship. And I'm telling you, this particular window, when this is open, you are completely happy all alone. Because all is one and not two. The path of clear light reveals itself through endless time. It's just a wonderful feeling looking out this window, and it feels as though your mind and the mind of the planet or the universe are one. Sort of like little mind and big mind there's no gate or fence between them any longer. And you're definitely not seeing through your narrow, you've got blinders on, narrow egoistic perspective. It's definitely perspective. And the picture behind me is the picture of the garden here at the temple, and I love having that as a background. And I'm the only person in the picture, you see. Even though you're all here, I'm the only person in that picture. And I love sitting in the garden, actually, when nobody else has to be around. So it's a sort of sitting in the garden alone kind of feeling, where you don't feel any kind of loneliness. And I hope that rings a bell with everybody. It's not something magical, but it is something frankly wonderful. And how does this help? Well, whenever we open the windows of our narrow sense of self, we are in a better place to be kind, to be grounded in the midst of a storm, to face the unknown in a way that is more likely to give rise to loving action. And so remembering these times in your life where you've been entirely alone, but the complete opposite of lonely, is very helpful. And making time to nurture that kind of feeling in your life is recommended. So I have kind of exhausted just about everything I want to say about this. Let's see. It's a blissful repose. Absolutely right. And the ox, the idea that the ox is your deep self that might wander away in these moments, is completely one. You are one with your deep nature. And all of the laws of the universe seem to be in harmony, even if you can't discern what they are. Okay, that may have generated some questions or comments or some sharings, and we're now open for business.
I'll jump in. Genjo, thank you very much for that wonderful description of heaven. For me, I've had that feeling of connectedness to the universe, and when I am alone, when I'm doing things like sometimes drawing or writing or walking and swimming in particular, where there's a physical kind of immersion where I'm not even aware of my body so much. And it doesn't happen when I'm in pain. It usually happens when, I'm feeling okay. I suppose it could happen when I'm in pain. And it's also very brief. That feeling of oneness is like it could be 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and then it's gone. And I think that sometimes it's like pushing an ox up a mountain to try and get there, given all the pressures of our society to not be in that place.
Yeah, there are lots of pressures in our complicated lives and society that tend to knock us off or not let us get to that place. And yet, if we can take some time alone in nature with a capital N, away from everyone and everything else, really for a while, just being in nature, where again you sit on a rock or a tree stump or a park bench and just be alone for a while. It's so damn restorative. Keith.
Yeah, but the amount.
Keith, you're breaking up. You want to come closer
Oh,
to the microphone?
sorry. I like what you said about the amount of time. Is that better?
Yeah.
Can you hear better? Because to me, when I've had these experiences, first of all, have come on suddenly. It's not like I was trying to do anything; it just happened. And then when it sort of moved through it, I didn't have any sense of how long. Like all time just dropped away. I had no idea if it was 5 seconds or 5 minutes. I really couldn't tell you. And also, again, just in terms of the way we talk about these things, I've always felt that this was sort of beyond samadhi. It was something more broad or more encompassing than just a feeling of flow. Feeling of flow is something that I feel like can happen with just calming the mind and feeling more at ease, as opposed to this kind of experience, which is like, I don't know, you put the word Kensho on it or something like that. It's beyond samadhi. Can you share some thoughts on that? Is that worth pursuing?
Yeah, very deep samadhi, very deep aware samadhi, I think is really one and the same with this. There are all kinds of levels of samadhi. I mean, your heart's in samadhi right now and you're not thinking about it, and there's no kensho related to it. And our breath is pretty much in samadhi, and when we walk, we're mostly in samadhi. Although, when a child takes their first steps and they really start to get the hang of it, I mean, that's an aha kensho experience for them, just walking. So very deep samadhi where there's this it can also be a kensho experience. And you see it in children all of the time when they've learned a new skill. All of a sudden they're going, that kind of really great new experience. So I do think that when you're in a very deep new samadhi, it too is a kind of kensho. But this is definitely a kensho, absolutely. Again, it's like opening up different windows in different directions. You're still seeing outside. It's all really one thing. These are artificial divisions between one kind of view and another, between East and West, is artificial. In fact, you go too far East, you're going to end up West, etc. So it's really one experience of unity with different views, but it's one experience. And deep samadhi is a oneness experience when you're really deep in it. But another factor that is with any time that we step out of our narrow sense of self, which is stuck very much in our linear time set. Look at all the clocks around us, and I've got a clock on my wrist. We're usually in a very linear time frame, but whenever we're in beyond our narrow egoistic self kind of time frame, time is distorted. We can say a single thought becomes 10,000 years, and so you don't know whether it's 5 seconds or 5 years, because in that, when the artificial barriers between self and other, East and West, North and South, have dissolved, then, or between the ox and yourself have dissolved, then time is really warped. 5 seconds could feel like 5,000 years, and 5,000 years could feel like 5 seconds. So anytime we're in that opening, time it takes on a whole new. It's something, time has many different flavors. Dogen wrote a whole treatise on time, being time, and it has lots of different flavors. And whenever we're in that opening beyond narrow egoistic self view, time becomes very flexible. So I certainly agree with that.
Oh, just could I do a quick follow-up on that? So the idea that they come on suddenly without warning, I mean, it's just like, it just happens. Maybe you could say a little bit more what you think about that.
Yeah, it's like fruit dropping from a tree. You don't know when it's going to drop, but it drops suddenly, and yet it took a long time to ripen before it fell. So is it sudden enlightenment or slow ripening enlightenment? It's both. They're really the same thing. A breakthrough happens suddenly, but it usually takes a long time to ripe, whether or not it's ripening or not. Other questions, comments, or sharing?
Carol has her hand up, Genjo.
Oh, Carol.
Hi. You're talking about this brought something to mind. I hadn't really thought about it before, which is, a question: does this necessarily need to happen in an alone space? First of all, does one need to be alone? And secondly, it seems to have happened to me, or is what you're describing feels familiar to something that just happened out of the blue a couple of weeks ago when I was sitting on a bench by a lake with my son. And my relationship with my son has a lot of tension and fraught karmic baggage to it that was present for both of us in this encounter. And at the same time, we were in this very peaceful, beautiful, natural place together. And I felt that container of just oneness with the place, embracing the tension and the fraughtness of our relationship, making it just a very different experience from being in a difficult place. It's hard to express that exactly, but it was kind of like, oh, okay, this too is part, it's really all one here. And it seemed to be emanating from this bowl of this lake and the woods around it. So is that what you're talking about, or can it happen in a situation like that, or do you know?
Yes,
You haven't come.
Yeah, it can happen in the Zendo with a lot of other people. So, but when it happens in the presence of other people and the rocks and the trees and the moon and the stars and the river all feel like an extension of self, capital S self. It all feels as though we are all of one body and one mind. So it's entirely alone, but you could have a million people there, and it just feels a part of one fabric, like the fabric that you're sitting behind, Carol. And each stitch is a little different stitch, but it's all part of one fabric. And it's this one fabricness, whenever the window is open, that is the main feeling of we're a part of one body and one mind together. But in this particular view, it's as though everyone is an extension of this one body. I don't know if you've ever seen the image of Avalokitesvara, or Bodhisattva compassion, with all the arms and heads, and it's like it's that kind of experience. Everything's an extension of this one mind, one body. So yes, it can happen in the midst of a million people. But it's still the feeling of being alone, alone with the one body and one mind, and including being, in this case, you're being alone with your son, and the artificial barriers, even with the tension, the artificial barriers between self and other have fallen away. So you become one body, you and your son become, even in the midst of tension and karmic history. For a moment, we are of one body and one mind, even with that history and that tension.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Bruce.
Thanks, Genjo. What came to mind when you were talking about kayaking, my wife and I have done sea kayaks off Vancouver Island, with the smaller islands there, and enjoyed that immensely. But truly what came to mind is growing up in Minnesota, which has a lot of lakes, and for 8 summers working in summer camps and evolving to be a waterfront director for the YMCA, and just being in that position at night as the sun's setting and the campers are going to bed, and seeing the smoke come out of the log cabins, and hearing the lapping of the waves against the sailboats and the clanking of the lines against the masts, and then kind of the cherry on top is listening to the voices of the loons out on the lake. And just being there alone, because it's your job to kind of put it to bed for the night. And another reminder of that is the Boundary Waters canoe area, where you can travel along the Voyageurs Highway on the border between Canada and Minnesota. And they're long finger lakes, so to speak. And you focus on a portage on the other end of the lake and head in that direction and keep your canoe oriented. And then when you land and set up camp, you know that, it's a blissful place, but tomorrow's going to be something new. And I kind of thought of that ox no more. And I just put a comma and said, for now, because it's like the canoe that rests overnight, but you're going to put it to use the next day. So, originally I thought, gosh, I'm going to miss the ox because it got me this far, but, it's always there and I can climb aboard again. Thanks.
Thanks for that sharing, Bruce. And impermanence is the kicker. None of these states are something that we can, or views, stay open all the time. But the memory lasts. I hope, forever. And recalling the memory is always nurturing. And knowing that in reality, the self and the ox are not separate. And knowing that much, even if I'm not feeling it, on some level, I still know it after many, many encounters.
Bettina has her hand, Genjo.
Please go ahead, Bettina. Oh, you're muted again. There you go.
Okay. I experience also this feeling, so this window, open window, and it's mostly unexpected. And it's always when I'm really in presence. So in presence. And also it's beyond my human being. It's more than it's beyond. It's when I'm in nature. Yes, I'm here in a wonderful place and with nature all around me, and it's when this big bird, buzzard or so, flew over me, and this was just such an experience when I was one with this, and there was also a little one, and I think that we're looking for the mother, for the mother bird. She flew over our garden, and the sound was also, it was a sound, and this, I have always a feeling of awe. So really, so yes. And there was also, it can be also things like when my mother died, I was with her, and I could share the last breath, the out breath with her. And this was also yes, I was totally in presence, and it was so peaceful also. So this were so my, and this is also what I remember always when I can call it back to me, to my memory, and that's really, I'm blessed. Yes.
Yeah, it's a kind of, it's definitely a blessing whenever that suddenly comes upon us. Whenever one of these windows opens, it's a blessing. And there is always a feeling of union and a feeling of being beyond human being, not just human being. So that when you see the bird, or you see the deer, or you see the dolphin, or you see even the snake or the snail, there's a kind of that you feel as though, ooh, I am the tree, I am the rock, I am the river, I am the bird, I am the bear, I am the raven, I am the dolphin. And there's this sense of being a part of, a deeper sense of being part of one family and one consciousness and one mind. I love the totem poles here in the Pacific Northwest from the First Peoples, and they had such a deep relationship with the animals that they could kind of, on a mythic level, feel they were a part of one family. And each tribe would orient itself to a particular animal family, and but they knew themselves as bear or raven or orca, and yes, that's a feeling where the artificial barriers between species falls away, and there is love, and much more than love. There's a feeling of being a part of one body and one mind with all of the animal kingdom, including the rocks and the trees and the rivers and the mountains. And this feeling of oneness is always something that comes when one of these windows open. And it's all of them. Any one of these windows will bring this feeling of oneness and feeling beyond a narrow sense of self. In fact, and beyond a narrow sense of being just human. Oh my goodness, I had balloons come up on that. All right, Lydia.
Thank you, Genjo.
Yes, I was, for me, this particular type of experience happens when I'm like in a park, and sometimes it's the wing of a bird that just some sort of little noise, and then it happens. And I don't seem to have, obviously, any control of when it happens or how long. But one of my observations is that it's as if for me, even though there are individual instances, they're more common for a season. So there might be a 2 or 3 week period where it happens repeatedly and more extendedly, and then afterwards I feel transformed by it, and I'm grateful for it. And I've tried to work really hard on not grasping after those seasons, like hoping I'll enter another season. It feels like there's such a delicate touch of loving, enjoying, being grateful, and fully being in that experience. But I wonder if you have any thoughts about that idea of it may have happened off and on for 3 weeks, and then it doesn't happen for 3 months. But it's a very similar kind of I think of it as kind of a person disappearing oneness that includes everything and and ultimately I'm more in love with everything, I suppose. But I wonder if you have comments about seasons of it.
Well, haiku always have a season, one of the 4 seasons. So the haiku structure will always reveal what season they're talking about. And indeed, as the seasons change, or you change what kind of ecology you're in, what kind of environment you're in, you'll get different awakenings depending on the environment or the season. So it's definitely related to, are you at the beach, or are you in the fall, or are you in the summer, or are you in the winter? There's a wonderful verse in the Mumonkan, the Gateless Gate. Let me see if I can pull it up. I think it's case 19. Yeah. Hundreds of flowers in spring, the moon in autumn, a cool breeze in summer, and snow in winter. If there's no self-deluded cloud in your mind, for you, it is a good season. So that kind of, it is influenced by what season we're in and what environment or ecology we're in. And indeed, I think the first peoples of indigenous peoples of any land will associate with that, with the characteristics of that land, versus a tribe someplace else will associate with the characteristics of that ecology or that land, and the animals that are there. This particular window, I'm calling it the East window, is really, all of these windows, when they're open, any one of them, there's a feeling of oneness, there's a feeling of unity, there's a feeling of deep connectedness, of groundedness. That goes with all of these windows. But this particular flavor of this one is, again, by Hakuin, sitting alone atop a sublime peak, wherever you happen to be, even if it's in the middle of a crowd. This idea, it's like the sense of self is there, and that everything and object and person is an extension of this one body and one mind. That's the flavor of this window. That I alone, like this, it's a bodhisattva view, am the extent, every hand and body and animal is a part of this one fabric, like the fabric behind Carol, and in that quilt, and that Carol. I'm looking at this picture of Carol right now. If you spot her with the quilt behind her, see, she's the one and only in the midst of this quilt of all the variety of everything that's around her. And that's the flavor of this window when it opens. And you'll see that there are different flavors when different windows open. But Carol sitting there amongst that quilt is really giving me this feeling of the one and only. Because she is the consciousness of this gigantic fabric. And that's the feeling that comes when this sash is open.
Thank you. I think that I'm obviously going to think more. I think that's the experience. It's just that it happens repeatedly only during some windows of time. Maybe season is the wrong word.
It's not, I'm not having the feeling all the time, but just talking about it, it's more than a remembering.
Mm-hmm.
Just talking about it is more than memory. I start to get revved up because I'm just talking about it with all of you. And so sharing this with others is another way to get at it. I'll just never look at Carol in that quilt the same way ever again. Go ahead, Carol.
It's very touching. So I have to tell you the story of the quilts. My husband was ill. He had a cancer diagnosis that was terminal, and he would sit in his reclining chair across the room from me, and I had a bin of, I don't know, 100 different colors of yarns, just pieces from 30 years of stuff. And rather than having a plan, I would just reach into the bin and not even look and pull out a color and go back and forth. And every few rows, I would hold it up and say, look. And it would be such a marvelous revelation of new colors just coming in. So we had a wonderful time together as I sat crocheting this, and his illness was progressing. And then he kept that quilt and slept with it, and he had it when he died. Yeah. Oh, it was wonderful to have you see that in it. Thank you.
Any other sharings or questions or comments? Go ahead, Mark.
I'll share something. This picture brings to mind to me, I've been practicing Zen for over 10 years, and there's one thing I've learned. It's that it's all going to be okay. After every session I do, I'm like, everything is going to be fine. And I feel like this picture is like not only coming home, but I feel safe. I feel like where I am is okay. And I think of one trip in particular. I'll tell this story real quick. Right before COVID, I was struggling a little bit. My brother said, "Let's go on a trip." And I said, "Where?" He says, "Utah." I've never been to Utah, and being from Pennsylvania, it was like being on another planet. And I just fell in love with that state. Just in the desert, alone, with just me and my brother camping. It was such a beautiful experience of feeling. I guess what I felt out there for that week was like I wasn't who Mark anymore. I was just someone else, just a traveler, going through Utah, and I didn't have my story follow me, and it was just such a beautiful time, and I was in awe of the landscape of that place, and it just really was like I felt so at home there. It's such a strange, foreign place to me, and it was just a beautiful experience, and I felt like that doing long periods of Zazen too, that feeling of just coming home and it's going to be okay. I just want to share that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, for that sharing. And I think I saw Zebus. You had your hand up?
Yeah, I had my hand up, then I took it down, but here I am. In hearing all our stories, beautiful stories, I keep seeing myself in session, on my cushion, in the monastery, and being in that place where the forest is near, the birds are waking up with us and all that. And this is where I really can feel that picture. I felt, in the country also, I was thinking about Mark and Utah. For me too, I fell on my knees many times in the canyons. It was just, yeah. But I think that I stayed nevertheless on a certain surface of things then. But when in session and being alone with others on my zafu, suddenly I feel that it's a penetration somewhere much deeper than what I perceive, like peaceful moments in nature and all that, but something else is happening there. And yeah, I can feel, there the connection. But where are those birds? Are they far? Are they near? Are they here? Are they in? I don't know. They are, and I am on the cushion.
Yeah, there's something so helpful about either being alone in a hermitage or with others who are essentially in their own hermitage, each one on a cushion. And you're all, even though when I do a retreat and we're all sitting on our cushions, it's as though, and we're all being quiet together. It's as though we are all in our hermitages and the walls between the hermitages begin to drop down. And you get to know other people who are being quiet even more intimately when they don't speak. And you have this feeling that we're really a part of one body and one mind. and that you get to know these different personalities, still the different personalities, but different, like different leaves on the same tree. And it's a
Yeah.
wonderful feeling. And of course, it's boosted by the fact that we're all being silent together.
Yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful comments and sharings. Any other comments, sharings, or questions?
I'd like to say thank you to Mark for his comment about everything is going to be okay, because that is profound, I think, for me in these circumstances, experiences. That's been the single biggest takeaway.
Yeah.
So thanks, Mark.
It's a wonderful feeling, indeed. Everything's okay just as it is, and then just as it is, it's truly okay. And as Shuru Suzuki from San Francisco Zen Center said, there's room for improvement.
Yeah.
Bruce has his hand up.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, I'll echo the thanks to Mark. And a second thanks to Mark is leaving your story behind when you went to Utah. What came to mind is just using that as a metaphor in so many ways in our lives. It's kind of like driving a car and putting the clutch in, or going into neutral, or just not pedaling on your bike, but coasting, or taking a strong paddle stroke and just going forward. How many metaphors can I create in my life to disengage from my story? Thanks.
Well, shall we close? And next time we're going to throw open the north window, what I'll call the north window of this sense of self, and we will pull that up, and that's going to be the eighth picture, both ox and self-forgotten. And as always,
Hello.
it's lovely.
CS, Nvidia, final testing.
It's lovely to share time with all of you.